Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first conference, and we're very glad that you took time to watch this video. This is for the Mind, Body, and Spirit Wellness Conference. Many thanks to the website that's hosting this event, and that is awakeningmindbodyandspirit.com. Everybody is here and everybody's ready, and we're ready to get this party started. So this is an exciting moment. For the next hour, you're going to be focused on yourself. We have a herbalist, we have awakening breath practitioner, Akashic Records practitioner. We're going to be talking about body movement. We got it all covered in this amazing event. And again, thank you. All right. My name is Wade Wickus, and I'm going to be your host today. And first, I would just say that this is a live event. We got people on the line. You can hear coughing and different things going on. I'm going to mute everybody here just to make sure everybody's muted. There we go. This is a live event that we're recording, so it's pre-recorded. We did that just for convenience for you so that you can listen to it at your convenience. We want to hear from you. That's really important. We're here for you, and we want to hear from you. So where this video lies on the website, there's a little spot. Click on that button and ask us your questions if you were not able to attend today. Obviously, we want to hear from everybody. Click on that and ask your question, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Also, we posted some great links, some helpful links, not only to the speakers and their websites, but also helpful links for you during this time of kind of unusualness as we're existing in this life of today. And that's the reason why we're here, is to help everybody during this time and process with your self, with your mind, your body, and your spirit, and just helping you. This is completely free. There's no donations or anything we're asking for. So there's not going to be a big question at the end of this. It's really giving you tools and insights and to help the world and to help you as a person. Speakers today, again, several decades or more professional practice in their field. And we're just really glad to have you here. You're going to leave with tools. You're going to leave with things that you can do right after this video. You're going to leave with things to consider or think about in your daily life that should help you as we go through this change together on this planet. And you're going to be connected to professionals, which is always nice. If you have other questions or things come up, you have somebody to talk to. Why we chose a virtual conference versus a podcast? Well, virtual conference just seemed like the right answer. So we followed our heart and intuition on that and created this event. Again, just for you. And a little housekeeping, got to say the disclaimer, we're not medical professionals, so we are going to be giving some thoughts and ideas, but we're not giving you medical advice. So please seek your doctor if you have any medical questions or concerns. The other thing is, hey, it's Zoom. So there might be some interesting things that go on with muting and unmuting, but hopefully we get everybody and everything works out great. And we are going to go through this process of each person having 15 minutes to talk about their topic. And we're going to have a little Q&A after, some typical questions that might come up. But again, remember to hit that Q&A button if you got a question on the website, and please submit your question. We'll get back to you. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it here with our first speaker. I'm going to unmute Virginia, and I'm going to bring on her video here. So Virginia comes to us from Austin, Texas, and she's done many things in her life. We're really glad to have her here today as she accepts her video offer here. We'll get her up on the screen, and we'll get this going. I see her coming here. There she is. Hey, Virginia. Looks like it's a nice day there in Texas. Do you mind just telling everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hi, Wade. Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting this together. I appreciate the efforts and I appreciate the invitation.
No problem. Welcome. So you're a herbalist, right?
I am a community herbalist. Yes, I have been in this world of herbalism for quite a few years. I think my first encounter with herbalism was through midwifery. I am a traditional midwife. That was many, many years ago, like 13 or 14 years ago. But I really haven't gotten deeply into it until maybe 3 years ago. I completed studies in herbalism in a local school here in Austin, Texas. And for the last year specifically, I've jumped deeply into it and building my relationship with the plants here in Austin, whatever is around me, my garden. I'm developing my green thumb, which wasn't developed before.
Well, I know I've tried some of your herbs as well, and it's helped me. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to be here. And I know you're a moon dancer too. And I think that's really exciting.
Yes, that is my spiritual practice. That's what I do. That's in the Mexica tradition, and that is my path, my spiritual path.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you for taking time today to be here with us. The first question I have, which is probably on a lot of people's mind, is really what can we do today to help build and strengthen our immune system and to help keep us healthy as best we can. Any advice or thoughts you have on that?
I have a lot of thoughts, Wade. Yeah, we're definitely living interesting times. It's April in 2020, so there is a lot of things going around. So I think that one of the biggest things right now is not to fall into fear, because that's what's going to probably make things worse for your body, for your system. As an herbalist, I myself find a lot of strength and connection with nature. And that's something that a lot of people have access to. Some people don't have access to it, although, nature come in the form of a lot of things, even through a meditation, going to like the natural world just in a meditation. Other things that are more like in the practical level of people being at home and having just things around that can build their immune system. Could be simple things like eating a lot of greens, for example, to support your liver. Just having a very good diet where you don't eat a lot of processed sugars. Sugars is like the worst. So if people can avoid sugar while they're at home, and just eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of real food, not things that come from cans and packages, if that's available to them. I think that is a very good start for prevention. The other things, like to eat a lot of things with vitamin C, like to eat a lot of citruses, strawberries, berries that build the immune system. Another thing that I personally love doing while we're going through times where viruses are around is making a broth with bone. And unless a person is vegetarian, then they can make a broth with a lot of celery and a lot of carrots and put some herbs in it. I personally like adding things to my broth that are good for the immune system, like maybe garlic, a lot of onions. I put some herbs on it, like astragalus, and I might put nettles, ginger, that sort of things. The other thing that I love doing, Wade, is drinking a lot of chai, because it's a very warming beverage. It's very easy to make at home. I mean, most people have these things at home, like ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, clover, black tea. And to make a tea with these herbs, it nourishes, and ginger, it nourishes the body, and it keeps the temperature in the body in a warm, on the warm side. I think a lot of these viruses really like it when the body is not warm. So keeping our bodies in the warm side of things is really good.
And how if you got a dry cough? Do you anything that you can prescribe to? I'm not prescribe, but I mean like suggest as far as to help your throat and the dry cough.
Yes, and that's a very important way of looking at this, because I mean, there are a lot of things like for coughs, right? And a lot of people will say, well, take this or take that because it's good for cough, or it's good for the um, for the lungs. But the reality is that if you go to an herbalist, someone who has been trained, that person is going to look at symptoms and it's not just going to give you an herb because it's good for. There are symptoms. So there is the dry cough or there is the wet cough. So it's really good to know what the difference is and to take the right herbs. And that's why I generally prefer if people like consult with an herbalist rather than just look at the what's good for cough, because you can actually damage, you can harm someone or you can harm yourself if you're not taking the right things. So to answer your question, you asked for dry cough, right? I will take things that are demulcent, like marshmallow, licorice, things that are that helps lubricate the system rather than dry the system. So I will mix it with eucalyptus or ginger. Yes, things of that nature that are going to help the lubrication rather than dry the tissue.
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point there, Virginia, about people really getting with the right person who can give maybe a holistic approach to maybe what's going on in their bodies, because it's really never one thing, right? It's always, it could be a multitude of things. It could even be some underlying things that are emotional based that affect your body, and that could be stress, right? I mean, there's a lot of stress going on in the world right now where people are, having to be home with kids and, trying to make things work or lost their job or whatever it might be. Anything that you can, provide from your experience in terms of tools or things to consider to help people with stress.
Thank you, Wade, for asking that question. I think stress is big right now. It's huge. I think that people are expected to do things that are not humanly possible, like hold a full-time job and homeschool their kids at the same time. It's just not humanly possible. So people are really stressed out. So in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I have let go of a lot of that expectations, and I've been setting boundaries at work and just like helping people understand too that what we've been asked to do is just not humanly possible, and to just take that into work and extrapolate it to where you are bringing your service, um, so yeah, lower expectations, lower expectations, because it's too much, first of all. Then things that you can do as working with the plants, just simple things, because people might not have access to complicated formulas, or consult an herbalist in your area. But simple things like taking a chamomile tea, catnip, if you're even like, if you're not sleeping well, for example, to promote sleeping, herbs that promote sleeping, because that's usually a big part or a big consequence of high stress, the lack of sleep. So I love flower essence. That is actually a big in my practice. I do hold a practice here in Austin as an herbalist and as a breath worker. And I love giving people flower essence even when they're doing the breath work. And I see the effects, the immediate effects on their, at a spiritual level and a mental level. So flower essence like chamomile essence or vervain essence, there are many, but and if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. But yes, things for the nervous system also come to mind. Things that restore the nervous system, like milky oats is the oats that we eat, but there is a part of the plant on the top, like that same seed that we eat that gets squished and we eat it. That the plant, there is a period of the plant, like maybe a week, that if you catch it at the right time, when it's milking, when you press it and it's milking, that liquid is an amazing way to restore your nervous system. So I am personally taking milky oats and skullcap on a regular basis, because I need it. I'm giving it to my husband, who's going through a lot of stress right now. And to my children when I sit feed, when they need it, especially the little one is really confused because where is school? Where are my friends? So yeah, he is taking that as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for that information. That's really great information. I was wondering too, if people wanted to get a hold of you, do you have a website or anything that you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. My website is virginiawitebord.com, and they can find me there. I don't have an educational kind of website. It's just, here I am, hit me up if you need my service. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think now it'd be great if you don't mind. We'll open up to some questions. So I'll get everybody
That will
else
be great.
back here. Thank you. And hey, Zoom, it's working, right? Woohoo. Rocio or Marliana, if you have any other questions for Virginia, that would be great.
Yes, I have a question. I know that with this COVID situation, I know that people are afraid to get the virus, and I also hear a lot about there are many different symptoms that you can have in the beginning. So I just want to hear a little bit of how we can recognize if we are passing through some of these symptoms and also stop the virus to go further. I hear that if they go to our lungs, it's worse. So some recommendations to stop the virus to go to our lungs and recognize those symptoms. Yeah.
I'm on mute.
No,
Thank you. I was waiting
good.
for a way to unmute me. Thank you. Thank you, Nana, for asking that question. Yeah, symptoms, that the more that we learn about it, the more confusing it gets, right? Like, it's so many things, so many symptoms nowadays that people are getting really confused. And I will say that at this point, what feels comfortable for me is just like really observe your own body. And if you're starting to feel changes, no matter what it is, because, they started like, oh, you will have this, a dry cough and an itchy and a headache and this and that. But then the reality of what's going on is that we don't know yet exactly what the symptoms are. Like, people have a full, there is this big, I don't know how to say that, but yeah, there are so many symptoms. So yeah, the dry cough seems to be one that is it's common in people, right? From what I've studied. And we already talked about the dry cough and taking care of that with the emulsions. And also I've read everywhere that taking things that are hot and keeping the body in that hot temperature also supposedly helps for the virus not to go further into the lungs. So I will listen to that. If I start having symptoms, I will definitely make sure that I will take citrus and keep my throat warm, and I will even wear something in my throat like silk to keep it warm. And then I will start taking things for the immune system, like fire cider or like elderberry syrup. I know there was a big controversy about elderberry, but I've been reading from very knowledgeable herbalists in this country, and I will take it for myself, and I will personally give it to my children. So that's the things that I will do to prevent it, like really get into the immune system with fire cider, elderberry, and other antiviral, like eat a lot of garlic, eat lots and lots of garlic. I've been cooking with so much garlic. And again, as I said at the beginning, I put astragalus in my bone broth. Astragalus is a Chinese herb, excellent for the immune system. And I've been adding it to my broth, and I've been taking that constantly. Does that answer your question, Mariliana?
Yes, very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Heard about eucalyptus too. Any thoughts about breathing eucalyptus in water? Does that clear out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, that is antiviral, and I've been by indigenous traditions. There is a person that has taught me a lot of things, and he has suggested that we breathe eucalyptus, that we do a vapor, so that we put a pot and heat the water and then add a few drops of eucalyptus oil and cover ourselves to inhale that vapor. And that for myself, I did have this COVID virus, I think. I wasn't tested, but I had something with all the symptoms in December, and eucalyptus oil really, really helped me, the inhalations of eucalyptus oil.
Okay, thank you. Rocio, anything? Any questions?
I'm okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And again, everybody, do remember, if you got a herbalist in your area, please reach out. Virginia is also available. Thank you for your time, Virginia. Thank you for the questions, everybody. We're gonna roll into Rocio next. So I'm gonna put everybody on mute and then we'll get to Rocio. So just a moment while I do that. Rocio is coming to us from Chile, South America, which is pretty awesome. Zoom, it's great to have you here, Rocio, and we're so thankful to have you here. I pushed the wrong person, my bad, my end. That happens in the Zoom community, right? Here you go. Let's see if this works now.
Okay.
Hey, we did it.
Hey. Hello.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Rocio is very on a spiritual path, breath worker as well, Akashic Records, lots of great background. Rocio, do you mind just telling people a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you first for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you and to be helpful, to be at the service. My path began like 9 years ago when I began to see angels. And I have been taking care of the messenger of them till one day I decided to say, okay, if I can see you and you wanna guide me, I will believe you and trust you. And that is the way that began my path in this journey.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you're here today. And I know Spanish is your native language, and English, you are very good at it, and we just appreciate you taking the time to be here. My first question for you is just basically, if you can explain for those folks that don't know what the Akashic Records are and the value they could bring to a person's life.
Wow, this is an interesting question. We want to go to the thought that everything is energy. And in that thought, in the energy lives light. And those light we call Akasha. And every soul or every person, every life have their own soul. And that soul is where all the information live in a book. And that is why they call records, because it's the light that have record in just one book. And everyone have a book where their life or many life already are recorded.
And so I know Akashic is a Sanskrit word, and it's a very ancient word. Is this available to everyone all the time, or they have to? How do you find out about it?
Okay, first, yes, it's for everyone. As everyone have light, everyone can be connected with their own light. And if we begin to connect with our own light, we can connect also with our guide, because they are around you and they are every time helping you to, if you have a decision to make, they are like whispering you to have the lightest decision in your life.
Okay, all right. And so you're really in tune with intuition, following your heart. And we've talked a little bit earlier with Virginia about stress and sleep. And through this field of this energy, what are some tools or ideas or things that you might have for people to consider when it relates to stress or other issues that are going on?
Thank you. It is it is something that really is happening to everyone. In my feelings, everyone is going through the same stress time where everything looks like new from your house. And what I'm doing for sleep is when I get to sleep and begin my thought to ask me questions like how I can do this, when that gonna happen, and blah, blah, blah. I concentrate in being grateful. And that is the way that I begin to slow down my mind, and I rest importance to those kind of questions that they don't have answer right now. And I connect with be grateful to everything that I have in my life. And I begin for my health because I'm healthy. I begin with the health of my family because everyone is being helpful or healthy. And that is the way that I begin to connect with grateful, to be grateful. And for the stress is also happening that many times I get frustration. My kids jump around me and I get frustration because I'm doing something and they are not allowing me to go to the end and finish what I'm doing. And that when I can recognize that I'm frustration, I have frustration, that I stop what I'm doing. I really stop what I'm doing because it's not going to any better place. I accept that is new time and it's different time. I surrender.
That's really cool. That's awesome. That's a great practice for people to consider. Thank you for that. Appreciate that very much. Is there anything else you'd like to share about just intuition and following one's heart so that people can really kind of feel that and really resolve themselves that they're doing the right thing? Although it's really hard to know, right? And I think a lot of people are making choices today, do I go to the grocery store? How do I know if that's the right decision, if I should say hi to this person or be near that person, or, it's a crazy world now. Thank you for thinking on that.
What I do many times is to connect with my intuition or my heart. Many persons say how you can be connected with your heart. Sound difficult because we are not trained to be in our heart. But what I do is just recognize when I'm in my head taking a decision is super noisy. Like I never get clear. It's like, should I do this or that or this or that? And it's noisy, and I never go to any peaceful place. Then I know that I'm choosing for my mind. Because mind is really useful. If you are driving, you really need to use your mind. But if you are taking decision, the best for you is better to go to your heart. That is the right place where I can choose. And what I do is first have a knowledge to accept that I'm choosing for my mind, and I let them be quiet. And I go to a place where I can feel relaxed. I can breathe. I can go for a walk. And I begin to feel like my tummy, because it's when we decide from our heart, we need to go down in our body as well. We need to take our breathing down. We need to begin to slow our thought, our intention. We need to be slower. I don't know if I'm being clear or.
Yeah, I think you are. So like, I think what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but when you make a decision and you feel right about the decision, there's a sense of calm that comes over you. But at times, you know, as people, we start to reconsider our decision, right? That calm may come and then we think, well, that can't be right. I feel so calm. This is a big decision. And, you know, maybe that happens. I don't know. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, that exactly what you say. When we are lost in our heart, in our mind, we get super stressed. And then when we recognize that we are stressed, we just need to slow down and say, okay, it's not right time to take a decision. Let me wait a second. Let me take a hot bath. That help a lot to go slower. Or do any meditation that also help you to reconnect with your breathing and with your body. And yes, when you take a decision from your heart, you know that you are correct because you feel peaceful. And this is super important clue. Like if you feel uncomfortable, you are in your mind. And if you feel peaceful, you are in your heart. And we cannot get lost on that because we really know what is peace.
Yeah, and that makes me think about one other thing that we were talking about is sleep, right? And that peaceful and calming. And is there anything that you would have people consider as they're, you know, reconnecting with their heart at night and they're getting ready to go to bed, preparing the body to go to sleep? Is there anything that you would recommend to try to quiet the mind and begin the change to the dream world where we attach to different energy and the universal energy?
I do an exercise that I can share with you, and that is what is helpful for me. And I close my eyes, I connect with my breathing. I begin to breathe slow and fully, like I put my hand in my tummy and I let it grow, and then I relax. And when I feel that it's already, I feel calm, I connect with the first flower that I have smelled in my childhood. And I go deep and I ask if I can remember when was that. And every time come like a flower, like I take the first smell, like this child that is happy and curious. And with that moment, I stay longer smelling. I remember that comfort when I was children. And then I go down and I put that flower in my heart. And I allow that flower to open. And when I feel that flower is so open, I can see the light going out through my body to the outside. And I stay calm.
I think that's a great point for everybody to consider. Thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. But that people really visualize, and that visualization of the flower, of connecting with your heart, and just seeing that will transform your body, and will calm your mind as you're visualizing those type of things. I think that's a great idea. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
So I know you have a website you're working on, and we'll have that link in this website that we're going to show this video on. So we'll have all that information as to how to get a hold of you. We really appreciate everything that you've contributed. Do you mind if we open it up for a little Q&A right now?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
All right, let's do that. So we'll bring back on here Virginia, and we'll bring back on Madaliana. All right. There we go. Everybody's back. Okay. So the floor is open for Rocio.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Mariana, do you have any questions for Rocio?
Well, thank you for everything you share. Beautiful. I don't know. I don't feel like having a question. I'm okay.
All right. How about you, Virginia?
Hi, Rocio. Thank you so much for sharing. That was beautiful. I love the part of like connecting to the angels at the beginning and how you were not like in fear and you were just surrendered to your gift. That was beautiful. I'm kind of curious on how a person can consult the Akashic records as far as like when they're going through an illness, like if they got sick, how do you think it will help to like a consultation with the records?
I'm not really getting your question. Please, can you go deep on what you want to know?
So if a person is sick, what do you think, what benefits do you think the person will have if they consult with the records?
Okay, when you consult with the records, they have like a good medicine that is bring you peace in your heart. And this is something really important in this day when you don't want to be on fear, you want to be calm. And when you receive record readings, you receive a bunch of light in your whole body. And if you are sick and you can, or another person can open your Akasha, your body begins to fill with light. And where it's light, the virus begin to be slow, small. Is that what you want to know?
Yes. That's part I was, thank you for telling me that. I didn't think about that, but I was thinking about like how, something about the teaching of the records that will help them realize the spiritual aspect of what they're going through. Maybe like, how do you see that?
This is really personal. The spirit that help with the Akasha, the teacher, the guides, they really want the best for us. And everyone have their own path to go through sickness. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or it's hypertension or whatever. What they really want to you is to be connect, and sickness is what makes you be unconnect or disconnect. Then every time they suggest to pay attention what is going on, how your body is talking to you, to give you the chance to connect again with yourself, with your own light.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well,
thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Well, we'll transition now to our next speaker, which is Mariana, and I'm going to begin the muting and say goodbye to Virginia for now, and say goodbye to Rocio for now, and then we'll go to Madaliana. So Madaliana, you're originally from Venezuela. Right now you live in Cincinnati, Ohio. And tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Hello, Wei. Thank you for having me here today. And I'm really excited to do this. And I have been, denying the possibility to do online videos or classes. And I think it's the time to start. So I appreciate that you push me and bring me here. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I consider myself like a healer of the heart. Like in my work, what I want is to help people to find their own connection with their heart, and knowing that the healing is through them and from them. So what I do is to just guide them to find this connection with their own heart and their own wisdom to heal themselves and to know what they really want, right? And then the tools that I use mostly in my work is a breath work. I have been doing breath work for more than 20 years now. And I consider that it is the most wonderful tool because breath work helps us to connect with our subconsciousness. And also another tool is I work a lot with sacred sexuality. That is also as a tool to help people to become aware of our own creations. And also, offering kind of individual sessions, workshops, retreats, and ceremonies.
Awesome. Thank you for telling a little bit about yourself and what you do. Breath work is just a fantastic thing that's been around for a long time. When you think about breathing, obviously it's been around forever, but it's so important to our existence and so important to our health, much more than I ever recognized how important breath work is. I think it'd be great to give everybody else a little bit of more background about breath work and really what it is and what it can do for you, for those that don't know what it is.
Yeah, thank you. So, well, there are many kinds of breath work out there, right? So we can talk about breath work when we go to yoga class, and sometimes, they can teach us about pranayamas and many ways to breathe. But I want to talk specifically about this kind of breath work that I do, because it's a kind of breath work that it has this specific way to bring us to those states of consciousness where we usually storage our belief and our patterns and our, all the things that we stored since childhood. And this kind of breath work help us to open that door and see what is there, like our subconscious, right? And help us to bring consciousness to our thoughts, right? We all know that our thoughts are very powerful and our thoughts are creating our reality. At first I have a thought and I have a word, then I have an action, and then I have a habit, and then I create my life from that. So the thought is the first thing, the first movement towards creating our life. So this kind of breath work help us to become aware of those thoughts, because sometimes they are there and we don't see them, or sometimes also we are there and we can see them, but we have the feeling that we cannot change them. So the breath work also help us to change those thoughts, because we become aware of them, we embrace them, and the transformation starts, right? So it's very good to showing us our unconsciousness, and it's the first step to help us to change our vibration. I think that how Rocio was telling us something about energy, everything is energy and vibration. So depends how we are thinking and what kind of thought we are involved, we get our body to vibrate in some level of frequency, our body, our heart, and our spirit. So breathwork is a really good first step to see those thoughts, change those thoughts, embrace those thoughts to then become and transformation. And also that is the first step to change the frequencies of our vibration. And of course, thoughts, when we change our vibration, is going to change the collective vibration, which is going to change the universe or our planet vibration. So I think it's an excellent tool, especially in those days, because in those days most of us are vibrating in a fear thoughts, and those fears, they have a very low vibration, and we want to vibrate in a very high level to help, the fears transform in love. And I would say love is the highest vibration in the planet. And the breath will help you to connect with your heart and connect with your heart and with your love, helping, of course, to change that vibration again.
That's good. And you mentioned love, and right now, with couples and families and any kind of relationship a person would have, any kind of loving relationship, there's a lot of stresses going on right now. There's a lot of things that are pulling and pushing. And is there anything that you can recommend to folks to help provide clarity and maybe reduce some of that stress or tension in what you do? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we are like probably never, we are now obligated to stay home and to really face those relationships with our loved ones, and so many of us are, staying at home with family or partners or kids or even mother, father, siblings, or some of us can be also obligated to be just with ourselves. Some people, they are just at home by themselves. And I would say the relationships in general, any kind of relationship, family, mother, father, partner, kids, or even ourselves, they are extremely important, because also relationships can help us to change our state of vibration, right? So I would say that becoming aware of what are the feelings or the emotions that are racing in my relationships right now, it is very important. So if I'm home with my kids and my relationship with my son is getting, bringing me this emotion of maybe fear or impatience or desperation, like to be at home with my child like this alone for first time, and oh my gosh, I cannot do that, those thoughts of I cannot do it, or doubts about myself or doubts about how I'm raising them. All those thoughts can change our vibration to a lower level. So it's very important to work with this. And I think I have this exercise to share, where I would say, like, it is important you can take a deep breath, inhale very deep and long, exhale very deep and long. Do this exercise of inhaling and exhaling in a long time and deep. And when you feel calm, I want you to close your eyes and you really connect and observe those feelings and emotions that are racing right now with your relationships. You can do one person at a time, or you can do in general, how you are feeling with all these people that are relating with you now. So once you become aware of that feeling, you're gonna start to do 5 minutes breath work. And the way that I invite you to do breath work is to keep breathing through your mouth. And I call it connected and circular, because you're gonna make a circle with this breath. So through your mouth, you inhale through your mouth, you exhale through your mouth, and you're gonna do something like it's not very fast or very slow. It's kind of in the middle, but it's important that you don't make any pause between inhale and exhale, and just keep doing in this way. You can set up a timer. So the first thing that you're gonna do is be aware of those emotions, and then once you have those emotions, you're gonna do breathing between 5 or 10 minutes in this way. So what happens is that this kind of breath is gonna bring light and consciousness to those feelings that you are recognizing, right? And so it's gonna help you to transform these feelings. Just the fact that you recognize them and you become aware is the first step for make them transform themselves. But also if you add in the breathwork part, it's gonna help very, very beautifully to connect with your heart and see the reality of those feelings. And then you can also ask yourself what I want or what I need to do to improve those feelings, right? And remember that any feeling that raises about relationship, it has to be with yourself. And also remember that the only thing that you can do to change a relationship is to change yourself. So when you recognize those feelings, you also ask yourself what I can do myself to change those feelings. And that way you can change what's happening in that relationship. It's not what your son is doing, it's not what your husband is doing, it's what you are feeling and what you are doing. So if you change yourself, the relationship is changed. So I recommend you to be aware of the feeling, bring that change that you want to see, and then do the breath work for 10 minutes. And the breath work is going to help you to really bring that change to your, that change that you want to see to your relationship.
It's a very common theme through what's happening today in this conference, which is really interesting that we're talking about how we're connecting awareness to ourselves and going through some change process, releasing, accepting, letting go, and just understanding that just emotionally, we carry a lot in our bodies. And I guess that's where breath work really gets to that emotional release is through breathing. We're getting energy through our body and we're perhaps releasing that emotional energy. Is that what your thoughts are about emotions in the body?
Yeah, and I would say that, that it's the whole thing. Like I'm really glad that you did this conference with 3 of us, and each one is giving some different skills, right? Because it's the whole. So the breathing is good and the awareness of your feeling is really good, but also, we have to manage the stress, and we have another different way to manage the stress, like Virginia was telling us, or the way that Rosie was telling us. It's all related. So my suggestion is just, try to be in peace with yourself. Try to go and calm with yourself. And that, the herbs can help you, the breathwork can help you, the connection with the akashis or your heart can help you, right? And that's the only way that the vibrations can go higher. And we need this moment more than ever, that each human in the planet try to raise their frequency of vibration in their heart to make a higher vibration to help, this virus to go away. Because I think this virus live and feed itself through the low vibration, and the fear is bringing us to a low vibration. So let's keep ourselves in a high vibration, practicing breathwork. And you can practice this breathwork that I suggest to you in a circular way every day for 10 minutes. And in my sessions, I do 40 minutes to open this process, but you don't need to do 40 minutes. If you do 10 minutes daily, that's gonna bring you a very, very, very clear state of, calm and knowledge of yourself and connection with your heart.
Very good, very good. I know that meditation. There's different types of meditation. One could say a ceremony is a kind of meditation, as well as it's very spiritual and very deep. But I know you do a lot of ceremonies. Do you want to talk a little bit about ceremonies?
For me, for me personally, when you have an intention in something, that becomes a ceremony, because the intention brings your awareness, right? So I would say that I work with a lot of ceremonies because also my breathwork is a ceremony. Also, the classes that I do with sacred sexuality is a ceremony, and not just those. I also have, the privilege to have native elders, teachers that are guiding me through native ceremonies, and I can work with them too. But my focus now is to, help you to make your life a ceremony. If you put an intention and you are constantly aware of your thoughts, changing your thoughts, embracing your thoughts, remember, it's not good or bad. It's not a bad thought or a good thought. It's just recognize them. And when you recognize them, they transform themselves. So you recognize them and you say, okay, this is a thought that doesn't help to have a high vibration. Let's just transform in a thought that help me to have a good vibration, right? So the ceremony is a fact that can help us daily, every time, every second, to change our state of vibration. And I would say that's the most important thing right now. Right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you're a moon dancer and you've done some sun dancing. Appreciate that. We're going to open up to questions now as well. So I'll get Rocio back on here and we'll get Virginia back on as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here they are. We're all back together. Any questions for Marileana?
I would love to ask her about how is related the breathing and the frequency. If we can increase our frequency through the breathing.
Do you mean the frequency of that vibration?
Mm-hmm.
It's two ways. The first way is how I say before, because when you are breathing, the subconscious showed up like a little more clear than when you are not breathing, and you can become aware of your thoughts, right? So once you become aware of your thoughts, they start the transformation and the vibration start to change itself, just because that, right? That's the one way. And the second way is also because the breath is moving all energy in our body, and is open and unblock, I would say unblock those energy blocks that we have in our body. And just the fact that you are releasing those blocks also help the vibration go up, right? And another way also is that breathwork open our heart. And when our heart is open, our vibration go higher. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question.
All right, Virginia, anything to add? Questions?
Yes, Marileana, that was beautiful. Everything that you said resonates with my heart. Thank you. And I have my neighbor is mowing the lawn, so it might be a little loud here. But yeah, I was really hoping that you can give us a little bit of maybe advice or maybe tell us how breath work, how can we work with our children with breath work? Because especially now that we are at home and everything that's going on, and when like they also can feel us, right? That we are stressed. Mm-hmm. And have you tried breath work with your children, and how does that look like?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. How you say, most of the thing that are happening is that they are feeling us. So I would say the first, please see ourselves and calm down ourselves, because they are feeling us and they become all in our feeling, right? They are just connecting with our feeling. So when I feel like this, that they are like super crazy, I remind myself, oh, I may have to be feeling super crazy inside me that they are showing me this. So what I do is that I take them and I say, let's go here to do some breath work with mommy. And we just sit in the sofa, and sometimes I hug them. And when I hug them, I have them here and I start, okay, feel my breath. Let's do it together. And I start to do just like slow down the breath and make the breath deeper, longer and deeper, and slow down the breath. And I put them in my chest for them to feel my breath and change then their own. And that is very, very helpful. Always after that, I can see the big change. Also we can probably guide them to do some breath work, but my kids are still small. I would say probably like if you have a child, your child Asher is 12 or 11 or 12, and he's older enough for you to guide them in this process that I share, just for 10 minutes. And that, start with 5 and then 10 if he allows you to do it. And with just 5 minutes in that way, because they are children, they become to that healing process and that open heart a lot faster than us. So for us, 40 minutes, it makes all this big process. For them, 10 minutes, it makes the same big process, right? So with the little one, just hold them and do your own breath work with them. And with the big ones, you can teach them this process. Thank you. It's a beautiful question.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to ask each of you to think about one thing while I talk a little bit more about the body. And that one thing is we're going to come back and we're going to have one thought that you're going to leave with everybody. So think about what that one thought is that you want to leave with everybody at the end of this conference. And I'm going to speak next, so I'm going to put you guys on mute and all that fun stuff here with this beautiful camera and all this technology. So thank you. And got everybody muted. And Mother Liana, we'll see you later. All right. And now it's me. And so I'm Wade, and I am a Aikido instructor. So I deal a lot with the body and the motion and movement of the body. I've been teaching Aikido for 26 years. And my message to you today is about movement. And what I like to share with you is you're probably feeling the sensation that you used to be running around in the car, whether it's chasing kids, getting into the right location for the right event, or work and driving around and getting from point A to point B. And you have all that energy inside of you, and then all of a sudden you have to stay home. And it's great to see people out walking and getting in touch with nature and just being out in the woods and the forest. If you can take off your shoes, it's even better to feel the earth. But that transition of running from point A to point B to transitioning to walking outside or walking around your house or walking in your yard is really important, because your body is used to that movement, your mind is used to that movement, and it's transcending into your body. So it's important that you take time for your body to walk around, to get that movement. And some of the things that you can think about or consider in that movement is one thing, stretching, another thing, actually moving. So yoga obviously is a great option, great alternative. Walking, running, jogging, working out, all great things, but don't forget to stretch. And the reason why stretching is so important is because not only are you stretching your body and your muscles, but it relates to your mind and your spirit. When you're flexible as a person. When you're inflexible, you might have some ability as a person and your thoughts and where you're going in your life. So that transformation of your body to match your mind and your spirit, to be more flexible, have more light, more positivity running through your body, needs to be a holistic approach to your body. And giving your body light is energy. Your body craves energy, craves doing stuff, moving. It's created for you to use as not just a tool, but as part of you. It's an important part of you, just as important as your spirit, just as important as your mind. Your body is the thing that carries you around on this earth. And it's important to stretch. And I'll put some links on the website as to how you can stretch and move. And I'll also give you some ideas about different avenues of where your power is in your body. So through Aikido, we really talk about circles. And if you know anything about confrontation or disagreements you might have with other people, and how you accomplish understanding what their point of view is versus what your point of view is, circles are important. It's always important to see from their perspective before you start telling your perspective. And that's the joy and the power of a circle. So understanding how circles relate to your life, relate to your body, and relate to your, not only your body power, but your mental power as well, to see more than just yourself, being the great observer in life and observing yourself in the situation. But circles create power in your body, and there's some specific exercises that are waist oriented and shoulder oriented and arm oriented that can really provide and build that power back up in your body that's needed. So I'll be sharing a little bit about that with some links. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is really important, especially right now, is connecting with nature. If you haven't figured it out yet, you're from the earth. Yep, it's true. Your body was created with the sand and the dirt and the trees, and everything that came on this earth is how you were created. And if you don't believe that, call me. But you're made of this earth, so it's important that you connect with the trees. It's important you grab a stick and feel it and touch it and be a part of it, and know that that stick is a part of you. Know that you're sitting by a fire and you're burning some wood, appreciating that that wood is there to keep you warm, and you're at a fire. That connection with earth, wind, fire, the elements, are important to your body. The reason why is you're connecting with who you are in terms of your body. You are connected with the earth, you're connected with fire, you're connected with water, you're connected with the wind. Feeling the wind in your face is super important. Feeling water on your body is super important. Taking a bath, a long bath or a shower. But not only just taking a shower and a bath, but really feeling and being a part of that water. Also, that you'll find that that will calm your mind. It'll calm your body when you do reach out and to become connected with those elements, because your body craves that. Your body is a part of the elements. So one thing to do is, as you're out walking in the forest, pick up a stick, carry it. You see a lot of people with walking sticks. There's more than a reason to carry a walking stick. It's because you're connecting with nature that you're walking in as well. So please feel free to try that out as well. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is what you believe, what you feel, what you think, what you say, and what you do is who you are. If you have a different thought about that in terms of you want to go this way or that way in your life, I want to do this, I want to be this person, I want. But what you believe and what you think and feel and say and do is different. You're not going to go down that path. You're going to go down the path of where you believe, think, feel, say, and do. And so just take note of that. Take note of what you believe. Write it down. What you think, what you feel, what you're saying, what you're doing. Be aware, be that observer. And then you'll understand more about what's going on in your life and who you really are. Because that's how the other people see you in life. What you believe, think, feel, say, and do is what the rest of the world is seeing. Until we can read minds better, that's really kind of where we are. And And as you go through life, think about some neural linguistics, which is these words of abundance, amazing, immediately, tremendous, and beautiful. There's a whole bunch of words like that. I'm just giving you 5. And the reason why I'm giving you those words is when you talk to people and you use the words about, I've got an amazing idea that's going to be immediately important to you. People will listen because it's beautiful that you're sharing something and helping people in this world. So again, abundance, amazing, immediately, tremendous, and beautiful. Use those words with people that you love, with people that you meet, and just see what they do for you when you put it together in a sentence. And from your heart and your intuition, you're saying those things that are very meaningful in a meaningful way with what we call important words to get your message across. So I hope that was helpful. And I think I've given my speakers enough time to come up with that one thing that's important. To me, the one thing that's important is what you believe, what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do is who you are. All right, so we'll bring the rest of the folks back up here and we'll see what they have for you. And then we'll get this show on the road. So here we go. Bringing up Mariliana, bringing up Rocio, and bringing up Virginia.
Thank you, Wade, for your words. Beautiful.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So who would like to start with that one thought we want to leave everybody with? Anybody? Any takers?
I think, Virginia can start because she has a beautiful sun rays over her. I want this cone.
That is a very good reason.
All right, Virginia.
Well, you were talking about the we are made out of earth, and that was like really speaking to me as far as like I wanted to end this with on my end, because I just want to say that we are all born here in this planet, and we are all part of it. We are all born with the birthright to belong to this earth. That's our birthright, and to have this amazing connection to Mother Earth. So having said that, we all have that connection to treat everything that we consume and we put in our body in a sacred way, in a connected way, because we all have it. Some of us just take it to a practitioner level, but we all have it. So when you having that connection, when you put anything in your body, you can be aware of that's part of you, and then choose what you're going to bring into your body, right? And to what Nana said, you can always, when you have that awareness and that connection, you can help elevate that vibration in anything that you put in your body. So take care of yourself in that way, with awareness that you belong here and that you are part of this nature.
Awesome. Great message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Rocio next. Rocio?
It came to me 2 things, but I want to choose one. And what came to me was really be grateful with the person who are next to you, because sometimes we connect with the carencia, with something that we don't have, and we begin to see in the other like, this made me mad, why he's doing that, or why she's doing that, and you begin to process the anger, and you connect with anger. Then what came to me was really be grateful for the others. They are doing the best, like you are doing the best, they are doing the best. Mm-hmm. And it came like an imagine that we can begin to hug each other. And everyone who is home begin to hug each other. And then you can recognize in the other that they are doing the best. And if you are by yourself, please take your hands and hug yourself and really be grateful that you also are doing your best.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rocio. That was awesome. Thank you. Madalena.
Oh, beautiful. Well, for me, it came two things, and one is gratitude. Like we tend to focus on what we miss and all the, negative feelings, or I want back to normal, I want back to my work, all the whatever feelings, impatient. So my suggestion, and from my love, I suggest you to connect with gratitude and see all the things that you have. Still you have food, and you have your house and a roof over you, and anything that you have. If you have a partner, family, love, just connect with that, and connect with your heart and the love in your heart. And the other thing that came to me is to put an intention in everything that you do. When you put an intention in everything that you do, it becomes ceremonial. So make your life a ceremony, and with gratitude and love. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Madalena. Perfect way to end. And so I do want to just shout out to people, if you do know other folks that would be willing to do something like this. We'd love to have interest and do more of these things, because we're all about just helping people and helping the world. So if you do know of anybody, again, click that link, Q&A, and just let us know who that person might be if you're interested. All right, everybody. Well, have a great day, and thank you again for attending.
Thank you, Wade, for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Mwah.